Escape room games are super fun and really shine inside VR. So here's my recommendations for the best escape room games, sorted from lowest price to highest. We have a ton to get through. Let's get started. PROZE Prologue is an escape room that's a teaser for what's promised to be a larger game next year. But even though this is just a teaser, it's very good for a free escape room game. I got 20 minutes of playtime out of it and everything is high quality. There's great detail in the visual and audio design, and near the end you even team up with another character to finish the game. That's something I haven't seen in any other escape room game. For a free game, it's exceptional. Definitely check it out.
Come closer, my friend. It has blood on it. It's Victor's watch. I didn't hear anything about any kind of incidents at Rostock. Have you?
When Tales of Escape was originally released, it was a paid game, but now it's a free game with the first escape room, and if you want more rooms, you can buy them through DLC. One really nice touch of this, though, is that it's a multiplayer escape room, so you can team up with your friends to find codes and break out of the room. Additionally, VR is not required, so you can play this on a flat screen or mix it up so you play in VR and your friends play on flat screen. Playing escape rooms with your friends is super fun, and it's really nice they made the first level free here. You should definitely try this one. We Were Here is a 2-player game, and both players are required. One person plays in a library location, the other plays in a dungeon location, and both of you are communicating via CB radio and need to communicate together to figure out puzzles to eventually team up and beat the game. And just like with Tales of Escape, VR is not required to play this, so between the two of you playing together, one can be in VR, the other in flat screen, or both in flat screen. This is a really cool and challenging 2-player co-op game. Belko VR, an escape room experiment, is a free game created to promote a movie. But for a free movie promo, it's quite good. You're trapped inside an office, and you need to find a way to escape before you're killed. It's a small space, but you'll need to do lots of searching and sleuthing to make it out alive. This game is for mature audiences as there's lots of language and graphic violence. Also, if you have arachnophobia, be warned that there is a surprise tarantula in there. Deserving Life was a VR project by some students in Austria. But for a student project, I find it impressive. It's better than some paid games that I've seen. The game starts with you delivering a pizza, but after you approach the front door, you black out and then wake up with your hand chained to a wooden beam. So you need to find a way to break free and escape. There's no locomotion at all in this game, so you'll need a room scale of at least 2 meters by 2 meters. You'll beat it in about 15 minutes. Anderson is a quirky and unique escape room. When you begin, you're greeted by a computer that's eager to help you and give you hints.
Okay, goody!
If your room scale is smaller than 2 meters by 2 meters, you can choose small space at the beginning so you can teleport around. It's the smallest game on this list, you can beat it in a few minutes, but it's fun and full of personality.
Maybe we're missing something. Are you sure there wasn't anything else in that drawer?
Viking Escape is a small, mystical escape game with great graphics and atmosphere. It's pretty short though, I beat it in about 15 minutes. Most of the puzzles are based around magic, so don't expect a lot of logic when thinking through this one. This will require a room scale of at least 2 meters by 1.5 meters. In OK Bob, you are Bob, and you've been locked in a tiny room. In stark contrast to the previous game, this one is based on a modern world with realistic logic, like using a screwdriver to remove a panel, things like that. Find the 4 keys and you can open the door to escape the room. There's some lighthearted humor sprinkled throughout the notes you'll find, and as you uncover more clues. You'll need a room scale of 2 meters by 1.5 meters, and you can beat it in about 20 minutes. VR Vacate the Room is the first escape room game I ever played, and it still holds up to this day. You find yourself locked in a tiny room, as you would expect. It starts out dark with a flashlight, but soon enough you'll find a way to turn the lights on. After you beat it once, which will take about 30 minutes, you'll have an option to play it again with more difficulty by pressing the question mark. And I found the hard room very difficult. So it's like you get 2 escape rooms in one. You'll need a room scale of 2 meters by 1.5 meters to play this. Dungeon Escape VR is a single dungeon room with clean graphics and exceptional puzzles. There's a variety of things to complete, like logic puzzles and skill-based challenges. For each successful challenge, you get a mysterious cube. After collecting all the cubes, you escape the room. This game is nicely polished all around, but one surprising thing is that you can open all the books, which is rare in my experience. Once you finish the basic room, you can play the hard room. So just like the previous game, this is 2 escape rooms in one. I beat both rooms in about an hour. If you enjoy this one, then I'd also recommend Temple of Aluxus and Spacescape, as they're both spiritual sequels to this game. Inescapable VR Underground begins like many other escape rooms. You find yourself in a dark place and you need to turn the lights on. You'll see some sloppy red paint, or blood, declaring that you have 1 hour to escape. Like the previous game, you can open all the books, which you'll need to do to solve some of the puzzles. This one took me a few tries to finish, and I think it's a great value for the price of $5. Oodlescape the Apocalypse stands out in this list as it's heavily story-driven with lots of voice acting along the way.
You know, when I started this job, I told myself, Winston, you might want to reconsider working for the International Military Complex. All the weapons and danger and whatnot. And
the story is wacky and far-fetched, but it's basically a multi-room escape game. You need to hunt and find various codes to open a series of doors. To do that, you'll need to figure out smaller codes and solve puzzles. Early in the game, you'll find a tablet, and you'll want to hang on to that because you need it throughout the game to properly see the codes and hidden messages. This game has a dark sense of humor and takes a light-hearted approach to the end of the world. It took me about an hour to beat, and the codes change every time, so you could replay this if you want to. This is one of the most unique escape games I've played. Virtual Escape the Playroom is a shorter game than the previous one, so there's less bang for your buck, but it's got great graphics and is also a unique setting since you're trying to escape from a locked playroom. This features kind of a heavy story, as you'll have to hear about domestic violence and family trauma, and it's all carried with good voice acting.
Let me out of here. Hello? Hello? Answer me, goddammit!
Cliffstone Manor is an escape game with a steampunk design. This game stands out for its unique difficulty and time needed to finish the game. This game requires much more careful attention to detail than the others, as it's the tiny, unexpected things that you're looking for. Several times I came close to completing a puzzle but didn't look quite close enough, and then looking again with a fine-tooth comb, I finally found an important clue. The steampunk atmosphere is cool, and with the puzzles being extra challenging, the satisfaction is even greater when you make a breakthrough. As a result of the added difficulty, this game will take 3 to 4 hours to beat. Abode is somewhat similar to Dungeon Escape in its simple graphics and satisfying puzzles, but the setting is very different in a somewhat modern and futuristic apartment. Search throughout the living space to find futuristic rings. Whenever you place a ring on the computer interface, you will get either a clue or a puzzle piece. Finding all the rings and solving the computer puzzle would lead you to an escape. There's a surprisingly diverse set of puzzle mechanics in this game. Every puzzle is completely unique and many of them interact with each other. I admit I have some nostalgia for this game as it was one of the first escape rooms I played. But in hindsight, it is a little pricey compared to most of the games on this list, as you can beat it in about an hour. EscapeVR Trapped Above the Clouds is another escape game, but this one features one big, unique, and obvious design choice. You're locked inside an elaborate homestead in a skyscraper above the clouds. Usually these games are claustrophobic and dark in nature, but this one is well lit and open, which is a refreshing take on the genre. I found some of the puzzles quite challenging, and fortunately the game features a hint system for when you're really stuck. It took me about 2.5 hours to beat it with liberal use of the hint system, so if you have more self-control than I do, then you'll likely get more playtime out of it. There's also many hidden paper cranes to find if you like the extra challenge of hidden items. After playing, if you want even more, try EscapeVR The Basement, as it's kind of a smaller prequel to this game. In Nano Shift, you're tasked with exploring a scientist's home in search for information on how to stop a virus. It's a narrative puzzle room mystery game, but it feels like a giant escape room game with many rooms. The home you're exploring is a historic Victorian home, but it's riddled with advanced futuristic technology. What I enjoyed most about the game was the frequent use of puzzle boxes. Those are really fun. The gameplay is quite customizable, as you can choose to use the grip buttons or triggers for grabbing objects. The game recommends a room scale of 3 meters by 3 meters, but if you don't have that much space, you can choose to move via teleportation. It costs $15, and I got about 2 hours of gameplay out of this.
I expected someone to be here to meet me, like, I don't know, a butler or something.
The Unwelcomed is a mansion containing a series of escape rooms. It has a spooky atmosphere, but there's no jump scares. There are spiders in the game, but there's a setting to turn off the spiders, which is nice. The gameplay is substantial. In the mansion there are currently 7 rooms total, and after about 4 hours of playing, I've beaten 4 of the rooms. So for me, I averaged about an hour per room out of 7 total, so for the price of $15, I say you get lots of playing for the value. DOORS VR is another series of escape rooms. There are more of them, but they're much smaller with less to do inside each of them. Some of the challenges are pretty random and nonsensical. For example, in this room, after matching up the dice with the tabletops, a globe randomly appears, and you need to dial in 3 colors from the flag of the pinned country on the globe. Which is an okay puzzle, but everything feels pretty random. I admit that the production quality in this game isn't as high as most of the other games on this list, but with 12 rooms for $16, it's a pretty good value. Sometimes the line between escape room and puzzle game is a little blurry, and I Expect You to Die could be considered a series of escape rooms, so I'm including it. But note that it's a forward-facing game with everything in front of you. There's no freedom of movement. This is a series of puzzle missions with a spy theme. The spy theme they've nailed perfectly. The music and voice acting really resonate with a James Bond-esque British spy game with plenty of humor.
The Alps are known for scenic vistas, prestigious skiing, and hidden hunting lodges.
The visuals and puzzle design also match the British spy game comedy theme. The visuals are clean and colorful, and the puzzles are mostly logical with the occasional jokes thrown in.
Door alarm triggered. Tear gas activated.
I beat the main game in about 2 hours, albeit for a couple of the missions I had to look up help online. For the regular price of $25, it's pretty expensive for the playtime. Keep an eye on this one for when it goes on sale.
Oh, how I do enjoy leaving phone messages. Since this is an unsecured line, here's a clever little riddle.
And finally, Blind is a narrative puzzle adventure that's essentially a series of escape rooms. You wake up in a mansion and unable to see. A mysterious and somewhat comforting voice is guiding you through the mansion.
Welcome, Jean. You're finally awake.
And so the puzzle adventure of Blind begins. The way you see in the game is with sound. Sound acts like sonar, which allows temporary visibility within a certain radius. Early on in the game, you're granted a cane to tap any surface to generate sound to see things. Which is a godsend, because before I got the cane, I was throwing books everywhere to get a sense of the room around me. The puzzle challenges are pretty logical. It all feels like a series of escape rooms. And the fact that you see with sonar provides some unique X-ray experiences. Like seeing gears turn under the floor, which opens a door, or seeing behind a wall in a miniature magnet maze. The price is $25, and it'll take up to 6 hours to beat, so for the length, it's a pretty good value. This game is incredibly original and fresh. If you're looking for a break from the usual escape room, then definitely try this.
I need to find something to help me get away from here. That man mentioned some puzzles. Is this a game for him?
Well, that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you see, please subscribe. See ya!